Hello, I'm Alan, and welcome to today's edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. Today's the first day after the rest day. It's another big day. We are going from Flagstaff, Arizona to Holbrook, Arizona. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas for future editions of Alan's Cycling Adventures, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Well, without further ado, let's ride. First of all, let me mention that there is a special interlude in the middle of this video. As you probably surmised from the thumbnail that I chose, we did go through Winslow, Arizona, and so of course I stood on that corner, and let's just say it inspired what follows, and I'll leave it at that. You'll just have to wait to see what it is. In terms of today's ride, mostly it was on I-40, which was also Route 66. We did get off of I-40 and ride on the historic Route 66 for part of it. I don't think Route 66 goes all the way through anymore because I know when we got back on I-40, up ahead it said that there was it was a dead end or something like that. So I think Route 66 just exists in parts now. But we did ride on I-40 most of the way. I-40, of course, is an interstate highway, so there's lots of trucks. And so, of course, there was lots of debris on the shoulder. And so it was a big day for people getting flats. I've actually been quite fortunate this tour. Although you can jinx yourself just by thinking something, apparently. You don't even have to say it. Because so far, up until today, I've only had one flat. That was, I think, on the second riding day, right before the rest stop. And I've seen people get 4 flats on one ride. So I was feeling pretty fortunate and was about a mile from the hotel and thinking about how lucky I've been when my front tire starts going flat. And so I had to change a tube less than a mile from the hotel. So that's 2 flats for me. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm sure it's not the last flat I'll get on this trip. We'll see how it turns out. Today was day 10. We rode from Flagstaff to Holbrook, entirely in Arizona. We started at 7:34 a.m. And in terms of the weather, it was clear at the start. The temperature was 50 degrees with a feels-like temperature of 48 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. The humidity was 37%, and the wind was 3.2 miles per hour from the west-northwest. Today's ride was 95.59 miles, according to my Garmin. Of course, that's a palindrome, I realize, interestingly enough. I had an average moving speed today of 18.1 miles per hour. I've got to tell you, leaving Flagstaff, probably the first 40 miles of this ride was downhill and with a tailwind. Not a strong tailwind, but a tailwind nonetheless. And so I flew for that first 40 miles. Normally, I have to change the GoPro battery at 30, and sometimes even that is not enough. But today, I didn't change the GoPro battery until I was 40 miles in when we got to the first sag stop. Anyway, my maximum speed today was 34.1 miles per hour. I had a total moving time of 5 hours, 16 minutes, and 6 seconds, and an elapsed time of 7 hours, 30 minutes, and 19 seconds. There were a couple of reasons for that big gap between the elapsed time and the moving time. One of which was the stop in Winslow. We all had ice cream, and of course the obligatory touristy stuff to do, standing on the corner. Also, the second SAG stop was, I don't know if it was the name of the town or just the road or whatever it was. I think it was Jackrabbit. And it was at the Jackrabbit trading post. And they had a jackrabbit that you can climb on and get your picture taken on, which of course I did. You'll have to check out the blog to see that picture. But, and of course, you know, the necessary shenanigans involving the jackrabbit. We all had a blast. Excuse me. And of course, the flat, about a mile from the hotel. And I also stopped about 3 or 4 miles from the hotel to get a sandwich and chocolate milk. So that took a little bit of time. Anyway, looks like we're coming up on Winslow. I actually just went past the sign, and I'm coming up on that corner, which means I'm coming up on that interlude. So hope you enjoy it. Well, I am here in Winslow, Arizona, and so that just calls for one thing. Well, I'm standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. Such a fine sight to see. It's a
girl, my lord.
It's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. Come on, baby, don't say maybe. I want to know if your sweet love is gonna save me.
Yeah, we did right after.
Well, that's enough singing for now. I'm gonna have some ice cream and then hit the road again. See you in a few. Well, that was fun. And no, I don't think my singing is great, so you won't hurt my feelings if you make fun of my singing in the comments. It was all meant in fun. Anyway, in terms of heart rate, my average heart rate today was 120, and my max heart rate was 139. According to Garmin and Strava, I burned 2,654 calories. I had an average cadence of 66 RPM and a max cadence of 96 RPM. In terms of elevation gain, according to Strava, I had an elevation gain of 1,220 feet. That's according to Strava's map data. And according to Garmin's barometric data, I had an elevation gain of 1,260 feet. So they're not that far off. I also had a total pedal strokes of 19,405. And according to Strava, my average power output was 106 watts. There were no climbs, no major climbs. I mean, there were lots of little rises and hills and overpasses and stuff like that, but nothing major. So Garmin didn't flag any climbs. There was that massive 40-mile descent that I was telling you about before. Oddly enough, somebody commented on my Strava feed that, wow, you're starting to get really fast. You're getting strong. And so I replied, before you congratulate me on my speed, you should take a look at the elevation profile. It was pretty funny. I thought it was anyway. Anyway, in terms of where we rode, we started in Flagstaff, of course, and headed west through Coast Nino, Winona, Angel or Angel, I'm not sure, but it has 2 L's on it. Canyon Diablo, Winslow West, and of course Winslow. And then we went through Joseph City and finally into Holbrook. In some of these areas that we're riding through, there just aren't a lot of towns, and they're kind of few and far between. So it's not like when I ride in New Jersey and I have, a million towns that I rode through. In terms of this ride, I would have to say that the challenge was the length, because no matter the conditions, no matter the course, 95 miles is a long way to ride. And and I guess that was the challenge. The rewards were the speed of that first 40 miles, just flying along the highway at like 20, 25 miles an hour. At some points in my highest gear, pedaling as fast as I can, and can't pedal any faster. I mean, I suppose I could have, since my max cadence was 96. But sometimes my legs get crampy when I spin the pedals too fast. So I'm starting to realize that this trip is more of a marathon than a sprint. So I kind of have to take it easy. Have to save something each day for the next day. Of course, the other rewards were going through Winslow. And it was kind of fun going to the Jackrabbit Trading Post. That was certainly interesting. Tomorrow we are continuing on to Gallup. Tomorrow is our next state line crossing. So I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of this video. All right, that's another day in the books. I'm here in Holbrook, Arizona. And until next time, stay safe out there.